Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is Hunter here, and oh my god, there's a girl here. What happened? I know. I've got.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What should I actually call you? Because I know you guys go by. What do you go by on your podcast?
We're KJ and OJ.
Okay, so I'm gonna call you KJ then.
I know it is a little odd.
It is. That's why I was kind of like, do I call you Ginger? What do I call you? But. Because you are very ginger.
This is true. This is true. A lot of Irish in me.
Okay, phrasing, but KJ, welcome.
Thank you.
So we're here to talk about something that we're both passionate about. Bald black men? Is that?
Well, I mean, isn't everyone passionate about bald black men? I mean, come on.
True. We're talking about Luke Cage season 2,
yes.
And so Mike Coulter, who's actually really good in Girls Trip too. Just throwing that out there.
A beautiful black man. By the way,
he's a beautiful black man. If you've read Luke Cage the comics,
he's in Men in Black 3 too.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's the Colonel in Men in Black 3.
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay,
yeah.
That actually rings a bell. Huh. More you know.
Yeah.
Okay. But Luke Cage season 2, so if you've listened to our review of season 1, I still think it's my favorite first season of a Netflix show,
okay.
Probably. I fully acknowledge the faults, especially where the second half really does dip as far as the first part of season 1, which I think is brilliant.
But it's got a lot of Wu-Tang Clan, which I think makes up for a lot.
And they are nothing to fuck with. So
no, they are not. And Wu-Tang is for the children, people.
It's true. You need to have your 6-year-olds listening to,
yep.
to Wu-Tang. But the one kind of mark on the back half of season 1 is the episode, I think, where Luke gets shot and they're removing the juice bullet. I think it just brings everything to a fucking crawl, and I hate that episode.
You know, I think one of my things about the Marvel shows, because I do love them, and honestly for me, if I had to pick, I think Jessica Jones season 1 is the best of the first season of any of those shows, period. I mean, but we've talked about why, you know, so, but I honestly think those shows don't have to be an hour long. I think they put in a lot of filler.
Okay.
Like, especially when you binge watch it. And it's like, and I think it's different, like, when you watch it week to week. Like, when you watch, like when you watch Preacher week to week. It's like, you know, you have, like, a lot of backstory that's kind of filling in, like, gaps, you know, that maybe you didn't remember from last week or stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think with the Marvel shows, it's like, they do that in the intention that, like, you're going to watch it week to week, but you fucking don't. I mean, have you ever just watched one Marvel show?
No.
Like, and just, it's like, you're binge watching that.
So I think... like Cloak and Dagger, which I'm watching right now, which we'll review when the season's over. It's really good so far.
Right on.
Thank God it's good. It's only 10 episodes. And I think 10 episodes is the perfect landing spot for most shows that aren't going to be like a 22 or 24 episode season.
No, I think that's fair.
Which I'm against anyway. Like, if they would make Supernatural or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like 15 episodes, like, cut that order, that... The episode count is exhausting for shows, and people like, because I know you love Supernatural, like, or you like the concept of the show till like 10. You like it?
I will stand by Supernatural being a good show till season 10. I will stand by it. I still watch it, but I kind of feel like I watch it now more because I've been watching it so long.
It's like
now.
It's like me with pro wrestling. It's like I can't just cut it
you
off
can't
now.
I just can't quit you.
No,
you know,
I get
can't,
that.
and it's like and Dean and Sam and Dean are not going anywhere for me, like in the foreseeable future, which is unfortunate.
Fair,
because it's been pretty shitty.
Even though the Scooby Natural episode was fucking brilliant.
No, the thing is, it's like they still have ones that hit like super great. Like Scooby Natural was so fucking amazing because I was actually wondering how that was going to work,
and it worked surprisingly well.
And it worked really, really well. So I wasn't sure how that was going to go, but it's like, you know, it's a hard road. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think if they were 10 episodes, you could have them an hour long, and that's fine. But I do think in a lot of senses they have a lot of filler in them. With that being said, though, I thought Luke Cage, the first season, what it got super right, it got like that super blaxploitation feel.
It's just enough.
It's just enough where it's like you're not like being like dick slapped in the face with it. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's just enough where you're like, oh my god, this like I like this. This is fun. It's like it's got like a good clean vibe to it.
No, that's fair, and I think. I mean, of course, Mahershala Ali is Cottonmouth.
Oh, so good.
So here's the thing: the biggest complaint, because admittedly, it's pretty mixed online. I think it's a little more positive and negative, but the negative reviews I've read have been negative. Like, don't watch the show; it's bad. Blah, blah, blah.
Is that because they killed Cottonmouth?
I think that's a big part of it. I think people just don't want to admit it. To be totally honest, like, look, I get it. Cottonmouth was so good. And
so complex, too.
Yeah, and when he dies, episode 6 or 7? when he does die, I remember I went, I don't like that call.
I was pissed. I was
Yeah.
like, because Cottonmouth, I was like, even though Cottonmouth is a total scumbag.
He is.
You know what I mean? You feel for him, and you're like, you know what? I want you to be okay.
Yeah.
Cottonmouth, I want you to be all right. It's like, Cornell, I want you to be good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And, when Cottonmouth dies, and then you get Diamondback, who, basically was just like, he seriously was just like, oh, hey, what's up, motherfuckers? Let's go ahead and just take care of some shit. And I'm like, okay. It's like, because Cottonmouth was, way more suave, and he got a little gun happy. Do you know what I mean?
But it was more out of desperation.
Exactly. It wasn't just like, hey, I'm a crazy motherfucker, and I got all these guns, I'm gonna kill you.
Anytime Diamondback wasn't in costume, anytime he was quoting scripture, I like the way they twisted that.
I would agree.
But I will agree, though, it's a drop-off from Cottonmouth to Diamondback. And I think one of the smartest things this second season doesn't do, there is no Diamondback anywhere in this season.
Which I thought was brilliant. And honestly, with Bushmaster, they played that shit nice, I thought.
So...
Because that could be a tricky one.
Yes, and this is what I'll say about the season. I really think that if you don't let... If you get over that Cottonmouth thing, I think there's a lot here to enjoy.
Oh, yeah. I thought, I was actually, I think towards the end, I was like, is it just me or am I kind of going for Bushmaster now? Because I was, because there's I'm going, it's kind of the, it's like the Black Panther thing. It's because it's like Killmonger argument.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. You know what I mean? Again, execution might be a little bad, but he's not technically wrong.
Emphasis on execution. So
Big time.
So I will say this reminded me of season 2 of The Wire, where when I was just done, I went, I don't really know how to feel.
Good comparison, though.
Because there's a lot of push and pull, and the thing is, Luke is
okay. I fucking love Mike Coulter,
yes.
and I want that noted. I want that I want to tag that Mike Coulter, KJ loves you, but Luke Cage is corny as fuck, and it is not. It's and I don't know if it's they're writing him that way, or that's how Mike is playing him, but he's corny.
So
he's a little corny.
I didn't find him corny. I found him, and I think this is why I liked his portrayal of him this season more than the first season. Mm-hmm. He's so clearly just frustrated because he doesn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, so Claire, played by Rosario Dawson, who we love, she's she's done one of the few good things about Iron Fist, except for Colleen, who's great.
Colleen's amazing. Best thing that happened to Iron Fist ever was Luke Cage.
Yeah. So I know I'm jumping around here. If you haven't listened to the podcast, we do this a lot.
And we do the same on ours too.
Yeah. The insanity to me is that it took them one episode of Luke Cage to fix Iron Fist. I'm almost looking forward to season 2. Not
it's like, man, I gotta put that shit on my calendar.
Yeah, not when Jessica Jones came out. I was like, yeah, but I went, okay, if I can get more of this Iron Fist, I'm actually intrigued with what they'll do with him.
The thing was, if they had played Iron Fist like that in the show, from the get-go, because the thing is, he's supposed to be Tai Chi Kung Fu fucking master and shit, and he's acting like a petulant little bitch. If he had been he was, honestly, even in Defenders, do you know what I mean? And that one episode that he was in of Luke Cage in season 2, there would not have been an Iron Fist problem.
Nope.
At all. At all.
And he seems like... what I will say... is that it does seem like Finn
Jones.
Thank you. Who
played Loras on Game of Thrones.
I'm starting Game of Thrones tomorrow. So and I'm actually walking through Eccleston's Run on Hulu right now. So I'm starting a couple shows right now. Right? So because everyone's like, you don't watch Game of Thrones? No. But Finn Jones, though, I was reading because the showrunner of Iron Fist season 1 was Scott. I like to ruin Hunter's shit. I like to ruin shows that Hunter loves. Buck. God, I hate Scott Buck so much. Ruined Dexter. Couldn't get a decent Inhumans season 1. Just Scott Buck ruins everything he touches. I'm sure he's divorced, but anyway. But Scott Buck sucks. He's so bad at everything. It's honestly,
all you have to look at is Dexter in order to
season 5 is okay, but season 6 through 8 are just.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay.
Oh,
literally, that motherfucker will. I will never forgive him for that. Like Dexter becoming a lumberjack, I will never forgive him.
One of the
for
best
that.
shows of the first 4 years, and it plummets. But Scott Buck really just took a big old poo on Iron Fist, and Finn Jones was talking about the fact that he only had, 2 weeks or so to learn the fight choreography.
And that actually showed, though. That was the thing.
Oh, it totally
showed. And the thing is, too, it's like you could tell that Finn Jones, he didn't feel great about it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, because it's like he even was like trying to defend. He's like, I didn't have that much fight training.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, and then I kind of was like, oh, fuck, I kind of feel bad for you. Because honestly, it's like, I mean, Daredevil had like some great choreography.
Yeah, it does.
Do you know what I mean? It's got like super great, like, just martial arts choreography and stuff like that. And the fact that Iron Fist, when you have a dude who's supposed to be a goddamn kung fu master, he doesn't have the glow like Shonuff and shit, but, you know, it's like he's supposed to, like, you know, at least be able to, like, throw a kick or something, and it's like he looks like crap. It's like, oh.
I was watching the Boondocks last night, and the fight scenes are better in Boondocks than they were in Iron
Right?
Fist. like, by a almost laughable margin, by the way. But he's fantastic in the episode. He's episode 10?
Episode 10, I believe.
By the way, if I haven't said full spoilers for the season, by the way, should throw that out there. But he popped up in episode 10. He's like laughing at himself, like he was laughing at the fact that he's the Iron Fist and like what he calls himself and everything. And there's a really cool conversation that it's almost not word for word, but it's very similar to the conversation Xavier has with Magneto in First Class, where basically Iron Fist tells Luke, like, there's this point, you know, between anger and serenity that you need to find to be more effective. I actually like that whole, because we're up by, is it Columbia they're at? Like the statue? And I was like, okay, I'm digging this Iron Fist, because he's not talking down to people, it's more informative. Because season 1, he came across like a cocky white surfer dude talking to all these Asian people about, you need to be more zen. I was like, God, one of them should just punch you in the mouth.
So I got some thoughts on how to go zen real quick.
Yeah, but this seemed more informative and from like a decent place. Does that make sense? Like from that episode that he did, like that's kind of how it came across to me.
I would agree.
I'm like, okay, he's not being a goon. Like, this is nice. And him wearing a Sweet Christmas sweater when they have their big fight scene.
Oh my god, I was like, I never wanted a Sweet Christmas hoodie, like,
right?
more than I saw when I saw Iron Fist. I'm like, oh my god, I want that so much. Like, I was just like, yay, Sweet Christmas. I loved the kid who was doing all the marketing and stuff for Luke. I thought he was actually, like, a really interesting addition.
He was.
What I actually like, too, is just, like, because you think, basically, and I don't know, it's, like, about you, it's, like, when I watched it through, I was, you know, watching the season, and it's, like, you think, basically, it's going to end up kind of the same way where Luke is, like, you know, still hero of Harlem, and everything's great. And it took a weird turn.
It took so up until recently, Daredevil, actually Jessica Jones season 2 was my favorite, like, sophomore season, because I think Daredevil is better than Jessica Jones until the last episode, where I think it crumbles, where it just genuinely crumbles. This gave me a finale. I genuinely didn't see a lot of this coming.
Oh, I really didn't see that coming.
And I give them credit on that alone, because it sets up what should hopefully be a season 3 in a really interesting spot where I go, I really don't know how you're going to write yourselves out of this, and that intrigues me greatly.
Well, and they also introduced a new villain. They also Nightshade.
Yeah.
Which I actually, because when they said it was Tilda, and it's like, I'm going, are they gonna fucking bring in Nightshade? And then she's like a fucking holistic doctor and shit. I'm like, oh my god.
A clever way to actually introduce an element.
Not a bad way.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, and it's like, and that chick's super fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of sisters on here.
A lot of super fine sisters on this show.
I was like, okay.
He might almost decide to go black back.
I might, yeah. Almost.
That's how fine they are.
They are.
Because, I mean, honestly, Simone Missick as Misty is, like, one of my absolute favorite things in the entire world.
If you haven't watched Defenders, if you haven't, I'll wrap it up.
Guess what? Spoiler.
Yeah. So Misty gets her arm cut off. Oops. Which, when it happened, I went, oh, shit. I was like, okay, robot arm? So, in the comics, of course, Stark actually creates it for her, but since, you know, everything's connected, it's connected but equal, as it were, no Iron Man to give her arm. So, they go the Rand route with her getting her arm, and I went, you know what, I'm okay with that. For what you've set up, fine. But she actually gets her a robot arm, and it's quite badass, actually. I went, okay, this works for me.
Oh, look good.
And she might be the best character on the show. I love Luke, but as far as acting wise,
Misty holds it.
She might be the best one.
I think the thing is and everybody is especially when Misty's in the scene though, everybody kind of steps up their game.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's like if Misty's around and Misty's talking about stuff, everybody kind of elevates to her level, and I think that Simone Missick, dude, just do not ever let anything happen to Misty, please, for the love of God. Do you know what I mean?
Well, they teased the Daughters of the Dragon element too, which I would be okay with that as a show.
I'd be hella okay with that.
God, Disney's about to launch their streaming service. Put on. I would totally watch the Daughters of the Dragon show. Like that one scene that her and oh my god, I'm blanking on the girl who plays the girl in Iron Fist.
Colleen.
Colleen. Why am I blanking on her name? She Jade Wu. Jade Wu? No, that's not it. I can't. I'll have to look up. But she's fantastic.
Jessica Henwick.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
She's fantastic, and if there was a grace for Iron Fist season 1, it was her.
Colleen, I thought honestly was the best part of Iron Fist because
it could fight.
No, she could fight, which was helpful, and that actually was my favorite part when she actually was doing the fight rings and stuff like that. And they actually, when she was fighting, she looked especially when she was fighting bigger people, she was doing actual shit you would do when you were fighting bigger people. Yep. They didn't really sun it out a whole lot. It looked really fucking good.
So let me get to why, as I drop my phone. Let me get to why, and I'm just going to spoil my ring right now. I'll give this season a fan-fucking-tastic. I like it better than season 1.
I actually thought it was way better than season 1, actually.
Oh, Mariah in this show.
Oh my god! Okay, so was it, it kind of was what's the word I'm looking for? It was a little bit, not startling, but it was, the fact that she went, full gangster so quick was really, whoa.
So...
Because she'd always been dancing around it, you know what I mean?
She'd been dancing around it.
But Alfred, she's an amazing actress.
She is.
Can't say anything bad about her. But it's but she went full and I was just holy shit.
So I think what's funny, and look, as both of us who've read a lot of Marvel, a lot of DC, I think it's hard for we talk about stuff like Arrow and Legends and stuff like that. It's hard for us to surprise them to surprise us because we know the canon so well. But when she sets Bushmaster's father figure on fire, I went, shit, okay. That was a scene that made me uncomfortable, it takes a lot to make me uncomfortable.
I was a little bit queasy when they did that too. But one of the other things I loved too was Mariah and Shades. I thought was
their dynamic.
Shades was because the thing is okay. At first I couldn't figure out if Shades was just using Mariah.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, to take the club, and all that. I couldn't figure that out, but it turns out he actually really was in love with her.
Yeah.
It was weird.
And she just, Theo Rossi.
Theo Rossi. I love Theo Rossi so hard.
So he was fantastic in every scene he was in. And there's a scene where Mariah calls him out for cheating on her. And I'm going to choose my words carefully here because #MeToo.
The TV show.
Yeah. The fact, how do I put this? You should never put your hands on a woman, but for what she said, I was like, I get it. I get why.
Dude, what, his relationship with Comanche, okay? His relationship, because the thing was, it's when they were talking and basically, they were super close in this, that, and I'm going, wait a minute. Because once I figured it out, I was like, oh.
When they were having lunch together, that's when it went, oh. Yeah, that was my moment. I was like, okay, are you going to acknowledge it? And then they do acknowledge it in the most intense moment. I went, ooh, okay, that's rough. Mariah's a sociopath. I'm throwing that out there.
Big time.
Because, there's this scene.
But I also think Shades is, though, too.
Oh, no. So, I think she's worse because I think it's episode 9. Yeah, episode 9, that's where they hide out at Rand. She said something to her daughter that only someone that supposedly loves you or just knows you could say to hurt you that bad. And went, okay, you need to go. It was that moment I went, I was kind of on the fence. Maybe you should rot in jail. I'm like, no,
No,
you're gumming up the works. You need to go.
But I mean, Mariah was getting so terrible though by the end of the season. I mean, it's like there was. I kind of like, and I'm sure you assumed it too. There was no way they were going to keep her alive because she was so terrible.
You got that Kilgrave kind of feeling,
yes.
or it's like
you
there's
feel
no
gross.
there's no way you can get to the next season and continue.
There's no redemption for you. You are just gross, and especially for what she told Tilda too. Because I mean, it was like you look like uncle.
Yeah, she said, whenever I look in your face, I see your uncle.
Yeah, I see your uncle,
and I didn't want you, and that's when I was like, okay.
And she was just going for damage.
Yeah, and then is it Tilda, right?
Yeah.
Just starts weeping, and then when she said that you're a monster, and she just walks away, I went, yeah, you gotta go. I was like, there's no.
But I think too, it actually did work though in a way because it was like because you needed that because Tilda was a good person. You know what I mean? Tilda had like all the good person. She was like, I'm not a Stokes. It's like I'm a Johnson. You know, it's like I'm not like these people. It's like, but in order to push her to be Nightshade, she needed kind of that terrible. Do you know what I mean? Basically, it's like this is my whole family. My whole family is a bunch of fucking criminals. And what the shit else am I going to do?
And she was fighting it so hard. And I felt bad for her because she was trying to not fall into that.
Yeah.
And she even said, there's a point she says in the season that trusting you, like it's unfamiliar to me or something to that effect. Yeah. And I went, oh, she's going to fuck you over. You're going to be even more upset. And when she inevitably kills her, which
I thought was so poetic.
Yeah, the way she did, just literally a kiss goodbye.
Kiss of the Spider, actually.
Yeah, Kiss of Death. Yeah, there you go.
I think it's actually translated as actually Kiss of the Spider.
But
because it was the Besos de la Rana.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because she put that stuff on her lips.
Yeah.
That is when I went in a violent way to die too, coughing up blood, and then I was like, eek. Okay.
Well, and I liked it because she's all like she called her like, and actually because Mariah realizes it after she leaves, she goes, she called me mother. She didn't mean anything she said, and there's this list like, oh shit,
and that's when it. And so the thing about Mariah, she is conniving as hell. She sets up this. So basically, she's trying to go straight, quote unquote. Yeah, legit. Yeah, and Luke, I love what Luke says. He goes up to me, he's like, I don't believe you for a fucking second. It's like, I know good and goddamn well you're up to something. I went, you're very right about this, but
it's like, you're not wrong.
But she's like, no, I'm fine. Like,
everything's good with fucking roses and ponies.
Yeah, exactly. So there's basically, she pulls a Martha Stewart. Basically, she gets this insider tip about this tech company that deals in plastic
company.
Yeah, and blackmails. The black male who...
Yeah, and I was like, why are you blackmailing the black dude?
I know, it's like this.
Where'd you find a white dude?
This is what they want. And so, he gets him doing some shit, apparently, to this girl she hired for the club, specifically to dime him out. I went, oh, you're such
But what's even worse about that is that girl, though, is actually Jamaican and actually giving information to Bushmaster.
Yeah, which I thought was a great twist.
I thought that was a great idea.
Okay, so let's talk about Bushmaster.
I thought he was great.
He's in that Killmonger conversation for me because so they do something similar to the episode I hated in season 1. I think it's episode 7 or 8, where Luke got the Judas bullet and he's kind of under, and they're trying to get the bullet out, and so it goes back to Seagate and to his past and some stuff. So they do the same thing here with Bushmaster. I thought it was so much more effective here because
I don't know what it was about Bushmaster. Like that guy, first of all, I don't know if it was just like his presence or like it. He was scary. Like it's like, and I think it's just like he wasn't even doing anything, but you're just kind of like, I don't know.
If you dip the T1000 in chocolate, you would basically
it basically be Bushmaster
because he's coming from Mariah in a way that
it's big.
He's a force.
And
they're throwing everything at this dude, and he will just not stop. And then when you find out why he's so upset, I went, you know what, fair enough.
And that was my thing too. When I found out why he was so pissed at Mariah, I mean, I can imagine people being pissed at Mariah because I mean, it's like
she screwed over.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But like when he said why he was specifically pissed at Mariah, I was like, again,
he has ample reasons.
He's got valid reasons. I mean, again, execution, that being the key word, could be a problem because it's like Because what let's think, Bushmaster, he escalates, so Mariah basically goes fucking nuclear 10,000.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then it's just like, what the shit?
So basically, his house gets burned down with him inside it, by the way, and his mother. So his mother dies.
This is when he's a kid.
Yeah, and it's Mariah's mom. It's Mama Mabel, right?
It's Mabel.
Mabel, and she goes, she's like, yeah, I told her I wasn't going to share, like, the profit or whatever, and just leaves the kid in front of his burning house. I was like, oh, you cunt. Like, and not a word I use often, but I
in this case, deserved.
But well deserved, because they grew, so it was his family, and then the Stokes, who were in, they were, it was the club, it was Harlem's Paradise, it was, Bushmaster, Rum, right? Is it Rum?
It's Rum.
And so they were just like, yeah, we just want our half. That's all we want, and we'll totally leave you alone. You would think this would be a simple thing, but she's like, nope, fuck that. And so he just goes, he goes get goddamn Goku on it. He just will not stop trying to kill Mariah. And there's this point where he, so Nightshade, that's where he ties into Tilda.
Tilda. It's like
I was thinking Uncle Pardon Me, but where he takes this condensed notes of Nightshade and he just turns into fucking Black Juggernaut, basically. Which, if they ever needed Black Juggernaut, I would cast him.
He was amazing. It was like, because I really liked Bushmaster. It was like, because again, Bushmaster is one that you could very easily get that so wrong so quick, but I think they rode the line with Bushmaster. He was fucking great.
Yeah, and something else this season does so much better. That's improper, but way better. There you go. than the first season. The fight scenes are so much better in this season.
So good.
And I don't know if they've switched choreographers or what's going on at Netflix, but for Jessica Jones season 2 as well, the fight scenes were way.
I wonder, like in the Luke Cage case, because it's like, because Luke Cage, didn't really. I mean, he didn't really start as he's a brawler, you know what I mean? But it's like, because he's kind of been doing it for a little bit. Maybe he's just refining his technique.
I mean, that could be it, but just everything was way easier to see. I mean, even from that first episode, which opens with a fight scene. Lucy Liu, great job, by the way, directing episode 1.
I was kind of blown away that she did that. I was like, nice.
Yeah, she did a great job. I was like, oh. I mean, I think that's the one person I know who still occasionally watches Elementary. I really like
last season, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I actually really like Lucy Liu, and I was like, oh, okay, good for you, girl. Like,
I'm a Johnny Lee Miller fan, but it's like even I had to quit Elementary. So.
Fair enough, but she did a great job with this, and it does show just how much more powerful he's been gotten. They also. Cover up the fact that or address the fact that juice bullets no longer do anything.
Well, because apparently it's like, it's basically when stuff hits him, it's like his skin gets stronger.
Yeah.
Like basically, it's like, I think they bullshitted it with the abalone.
They said that when Claire and that other doctor put him back under again.
Yeah.
But then I went back and rewatched. I was like, oh, no one ever shot him with a juice bullet. Like, post that.
Yeah,
I was like,
nobody shot him with
I was like, that is okay. I'm like, fair enough. You kind of got me there.
Because I was like kind of freaking out because they hit the Judas bullet and he's going to shoot him, and then it was like, I'm like, why is he okay?
Yeah.
Because I was actually like, holy shit, a Judas bullet. But yeah, apparently it's like, the black man just keeps getting stronger and stronger. But again, I want to know what his hoodie budget is. I really want to know about his hoodie budget. Because those are Carhartts, dude. Those aren't fucking cheap.
Yeah. By the way, can you get the XXL back in that Luke Cage special edition hoodie? I want that shit. I've been checking every day for 2 weeks. It's like, since you told me about it, and I cannot. God.
Well, let's see if we can find sweet Christmas ones.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm sure they're out there. But as far as everything else, though, I mean, so I think the soundtrack is great. There's a live performance by fucking Jadakiss and Faith Evans that just as a Jadakiss fan, I went, that's pretty great.
See, I loved that. I love Faith Evans.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just amazing. And it's like, and I always like it too. It's like, especially like when she's at Harlow's Paradise, because there's so much at Harlow's Paradise that revolves around Biggie, that it's like, I always like it when she's there singing something, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like a good nod, all the way around.
Agreed.
And again, I will never ever be sad at Luke Cage because there's so much Wu-Tang Clan in both seasons. I don't even give a shit. Oh my god, when him and Bushmaster are fighting those dudes, and then fucking, oh my god, I was so happy. I'm like, are they gonna team up? Yes, they teamed up, yay! Sort of. It's like, but it's so fucking cool. So fucking cool.
So they have a fight on a bridge, and holy shit. So I think that's episode 4 or 5.
4 or 5, yeah.
But
because Luke had already got his ass kicked once by Bushmaster, and the best part is so that it gets filmed that he got his ass kicked. So everybody's like, "You got your ass kicked, boy."
You know, and Luke made a really good point. He's like, people love you on top, but the moment he gets his ass kicked, everyone's like, "Oh, well,
I know. It's
I was
true.
like, what? I was like, what fucking prick?
But then it's like, on the bridge, he gets his ass kicked again, but in the best, like, most terrible way possible.
So he gets paralyzed by some
like voodoo dust.
yeah,
or some
voodoo,
shit.
yeah, basically like Black Pixie does. And then fucking the only thing missing was to finish him when Bushmaster kicks his ass off a bridge and he goes flying into the water. I went, Jesus. and Trump's. And also trumps the stereotype because Luke Cage can swim.
Yes, Luke Cage can. Well, when he's not paralyzed.
Yeah, when he's not
paralyzed by voodoo dust, he can swim.
Which is good for him because if that was me, I would have drowned. Like, well,
I was just sitting there and I'm just like, whoa. And then he sees a picture of his dad in his head, basically telling him to get up, and so he actually gets out of the water and stuff. Actually, Reggie Cathy as Luke's dad, I thought was
may he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. I was so sad when I heard that because I love him. He's an amazing actor.
He really is.
It's like I remember he's been in so many great things though. It's like, but I thought he was great in Luke Cage because the thing is, what I like about his character is because he is a man of faith and a man of God and stuff like that. But he's like, nobody's perfect. It's like we've all fucked up and made terrible mistakes. Do you know what I mean? But it doesn't mean you can't be a good person in the now.
What I found interesting about him is the dynamic that I totally get from Dad's perspective of being like, when he was in Seagate saying, you did this to yourself,
right.
And then his wife getting cancer and him having to balance all that, and that alone, as someone who has had, especially recently, lots of arguments about religion, I do appreciate the fact that he addresses it, like, look, I fucked up royally, but
I mean that's kind of like it's part of the whole as being religious as we both are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of like the repentance process though. So it's like because the thing is you cannot be truly forgiven until you admit you have done wrong.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like I thought that was like a very powerful thing, especially with him in my culture, because at first Luke won't give him the time of fucking day.
At all. Like you going out of his way.
Yeah, he's going out of his way to avoid him.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? But then it's like by the end of it, it's like they actually come back together, and it's like, and I thought that was really cool because it's like a lot of times you don't see horrible relationships resolved in a way that is satisfactory or in a way that's it's not clean, but you know what, we're gonna try. Yeah. And I thought that was really nice.
And I do appreciate the fact that they use that to tie Bushmaster in with Luke, talking about how we all have two masters, which one do we serve? And I love the way that Bushmaster gets to that point where he's just he's vengeance filled to a very where he could blow up the city, honestly, if he wanted to. And Luke is trying to do the right thing, but just struggling with it.
Yeah. And
Bushmaster, man, I think what helps as far as the fight scenes, he's got this capoeira.
Oh, dude, the capoeira. I was like, oh, that is dope.
Like Muay Thai, blend to his fighting style, and it's shot really well. Number one, when he first kicks Luke's ass, he does this front flip where he kicks him and then lands on his feet. I went, well, that's that sucks quite a bit if you're Luke.
No, and I mean, the thing is too, because the thing is, it's like you figure it's going to be like anything else. Luke might, he'll get some punches in, but he's not going to get his ass kicked. And I mean, Bushmaster kicked his ass fucking proper quick. It was like, holy shit.
Each fight scene, it honestly feels like it could go either way until the person at that point wins.
I think the first time, when Bushmaster Purrs went after him though, it was he was Luke Cage was rockabye baby. Out, bitch.
No, and it's great because he's stumbling around and you see him spit out blood and you go, oh shit, okay.
The only thing that I wish they kind of had addressed a little bit more, because they kind of they played with it, I think for the next 3 episodes where it was he was having the concussion symptoms, but it never really came back up after that. Do you know what I mean? Because he was having the concussion symptoms and he's and you could see him just wah, 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 wah.
I love that effect, but it was the same thing with Jessica Jones where he gets shot, but they go he's fine, kinda, but he's still almost feeling the effects. So the way they kind of shot it seemed like he was okay enough to get from point A to point B, but not use his powers. That's kind of what I drew from it.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I would have liked a little more clarification as far as how that kind of ended up.
Because I feel like that was it's they wanted that to be an important point that they just kind of dropped.
Yeah. And so I think this season more so than even the first season. There's a lot they're balancing. Like you can almost hear the Carney music. I was like, okay, like what are you gonna drop? That's not gonna. And between Luke kind of finding his center to what it kind of means to rule Harlem, to something that I, as a black person, really appreciate the real kind of battle between people who are light skinned and people who are dark skinned. Something that they touched on. I went.
That actually was, and that I thought was interesting because I was not aware that was like a thing,
yeah.
or you know what I mean. It's like because you see like this all the time where it's like people just can't like get together like on anything because of ideas or whatever. And I didn't even realize. I mean, probably very naively that light skinned versus dark skin was even a thing.
Yeah, no, I.
Do you know what I mean?
So as someone who's unfortunate had to deal with that, I definitely. Like when they addressed it, I went, "Oh, that's kind of interesting." And I'm like,
so it's kind of like though when people like hassle you for being a ginger because you're so pale.
But
I honestly didn't even think that was like a thing for like totally the black community. I didn't really think it was a thing.
And I actually thought that was really brave to even touch on that, and to make it pretty prominent, like in the later part of the season, because
it's very important to like the Stokes and Dillard story.
Yeah, because when talking to multiple people talking to Bushmaster saying like, look, like you're not like. Jamaicans are being harassed in Harlem and Uptown, all this because what you're fucking doing. And he goes basically like, okay, I'll kind of ease up a little bit, but the Stokes still have to pay. And it's that really interesting back and forth that I went, man, they're touching on a lot here. So as far as where this ends, so Mariah dies, gets killed by her own daughter, which
is never a good way to go. And that's basically, that's how you know you turn pure evil at that point. That's how you know. It's like, she's a villain now, it's totally fine. Even though bitch had to go.
And the thing is, I almost find like the Punisher. I almost see him more as an anti-hero than as a villain.
I'm interested to see, like with season 3, I'm interested to see where they're going to take her.
Because just with her knowledge, and the show goes out of their way to go like, hey, she's really well versed in medicine.
And the thing is too, it's like it's not like she's just doing like herbal like fucking essential oil shit. She actually legitimately can fucking heal people with the herbs and shit.
And so one thing I will say, they leave Bushmaster open, like he goes back to Jamaica,
which I'm so happy.
Which I'm happy they did, because the concept is that the Stokes are gone, but his mission still isn't finished.
Right.
And that is something I went, okay, that's a very good thing to leave unresolved, because I hope you come back to that. Luke gets Harlem's Paradise and Mariah's will, which...
Well, I mean, we knew it wasn't going to fucking Tilda after all that shit.
But I'll be honest, like, as soon as she kissed her, me and Leia were watching, and I went, oh my god, he's going to get Harlem's Paradise. She's like, what? I was like, what?
The thing is, the second she died, I fucking knew he was going to get it. Because, again, I knew Tilda wasn't going to get it because after that horrible, hateful shit that, Mariah said to her. So I'm like, he's going to get Harlem's Paradise. I go, holy shit, what the fuck is he going to do with Harlem's Paradise? And then I'm like, holy shit, they're going to make him go slightly gangster.
Yeah. and so, what's interesting, they kind of double swerve you, because at first he goes, burn it.
Well, yeah, because you think it's going to go. You think it's going to be burn it, it's done.
Yeah, and he actually says, burn it. But then, it's like, oh, he changed his mind. And you see him in this fucking classy gold suit.
It looked good, too.
And I went, damn, okay. And you see him playing gangster. And as someone who grew up on 90s hip-hop and stuff, like, that big poster that they have, that art piece is just fucking beautiful.
It's iconic as shit, too.
And then when you see it replaced with the Ali picture, I was like, oh wow, he's going all in on this. Yep. And I went, ooh, that is a really interesting...
And that was why I was like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Because I was like, it's like you just made Luke Cage a fucking gangster.
What I find interesting is that they could go the... oh god, I'm blanking on the Daredevil line. But where he's leading the hand.
Oh,
they could do a tweaked version of that, and that's kind of the first thing I thought is maybe that's what they're like that. And Lord knows they may not even do Defenders 2, but if you were, this is a hell of a way to actually
that would be a hell
give
of a way
it.
To get that.
Yeah, like all of the Defenders against Luke Cage, and maybe you bring in Moon Knight or Blade by that point, which is what I would do. But
we still need a Moon Knight though, so
yeah,
bad.
We do need a Moon Knight, but I thought that was a very oh, this is where you're ending the shit. Okay, so. Now it casts doubts on Heroes for Hire for me, because now I'm like, well, I mean, is Iron Fist season 2 going to tie in this? Because
Right.
I'll be honest with you, and this is something I've said about Marvel that almost impresses me. They've made the hand so goddamn boring. I just don't care.
Oh, right.
Like, I just don't want to see the hand anymore.
I just can't figure out why it's like so complicated to make the hand interesting.
Yeah.
It's like I don't understand it. I mean, like reading like the comic books and stuff like that, the hand is like super fascinating. I don't know why it's not translating.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I guess
Sigourney Weaver was the head of the hand and it was boring. What the shit?
Yeah, and Sigourney Weaver was great, and they're like, she's dead, whatever.
It's cool, whatever.
Yeah, it's fine, but
it's fine. We're all fine here. Thank you.
yeah. So here's hoping it's better than that if they go that route. But I mean, as far as my final thoughts, I thought the music was better. Mm-hmm. I thought the fight scenes were better. Mm-hmm. I thought Misty got just way more time to shine. The subplot with her and her rival, I thought was really interesting.
Oh, she was great.
And there's a point where she's kicking her ass and even tells her, "Get up, get this ass woman." I went, "Oh, Misty, you're so hot." I was like, "Oh, man."
My god, no! It's like, especially it's like because it's actually she's a chick that she went to school with, who she's a cop with now.
Yeah,
she actually took her. She earned. I'm sorry, she earned her spot on the basketball team. And she's played by Antonique Smith. And she is, I mean, the sass off between those two every fucking time they are on screen is fucking magic.
It's a female dick measuring contest.
Oh, dude, big time.
Because whenever Bushmaster and Luke Cage are in the same room, they might as well whip them out and go, it's getting harder. Mine's getting harder. Like that's basically what they do, but in the best way. And her rival, she's such a bitch to her.
Such a bitch. And then the worst part too is then you find out, it's like she basically she sold them all out to Bushmaster. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, and then Misty kicks her ass and it's fucking great.
I do appreciate the way this kind of went Dark Knight in the last 4 episodes, where it feels like there's just violence everywhere, and the cops are just overwhelmed by what's happening.
I actually really liked that. It was like that's like they were overwhelmed, they didn't know what to do, and I think in this situation, with the end where Luke goes gangster, I think it was like for him at that point, I think it was the best option he had, because it's like he really just had to deal with the gangsters and be like, hey, look, could you just stay the fuck out of Harlem? You know what I mean? Because it's like he didn't really have any other options.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, because when I looked back on it, I'm like, no, actually, it's like, if you want to talk about the cleanest, quickest way to take care of shit, then yeah, you are going to talk to the gangsters and go, just keep your shit out of my house.
The reason why, and this is actually what solidified the Fan-fucking-tastic for me, it so reminded me of Vic Mackey, where he's finally went to that point where, okay, I can be a drug dealer, I can be a trafficker, but if I'm keeping it, like, in-house, I can control more of it than if I'm just on the outside looking in. And I went... obviously, if we've watched Breaking Bad and stuff like that, it doesn't end well when you go that route.
When you go gangster, it never goes
well. But as far as execution, I went, that's kind of the only option he really had at this point. Because, there are all these fires he's having to put out, and I can't even imagine. And they haven't touched on his super speed, by the way. He's super fast, but, I mean, they kind of acknowledge it, kind of.
Sort of.
Yeah, but, I mean, in theory, he should be able to run across town and be there in, 3 minutes, but theoretically, yeah. But
they're saving that.
It might be season 3, who knows? But I do appreciate that he just seemed exhausted by it all, and
you can't blame. I mean, it's like he's one dude in Harlem.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like Harlem is not a tiny place. It's like he's one dude trying to take care of shit in one place, and it's like. And if the gangs are getting, overzealous and stuff like that, and then, you lose your kingpin, Mariah, who keeps everything out, you're gonna get fucking overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And again, he's still only one person, though.
I will say this is the last quick thing. When Mariah's talking to her daughter, and she drops the line about black women always being superheroes, turning, pain into progress, I went, fuck, that's a great line. That was something, just as a writer, I went, okay. And
again, it is Alfre Woodward, so it gives it some gravitas that it probably wouldn't have had from somebody else, because she is fucking amazing.
Yeah, because someone else could have smudged that line, but she says it in a way. I went, oh man, this is just... So, I mean, as far as a complaint, my only real complaint is I think you can cut an episode 2 maybe.
No, see, again, that's why I think they should be shorter. I think you
Yeah.
can keep the episode, like, you can keep the amount of episodes.
Yeah.
But I think you can cut out a good 10 minutes of each
So
one.
do like 45-minute episodes?
Yeah,
thing?
like basically
Fair
45,
enough.
47 minutes. It's like, because again, I think they have a lot of filler. Or again, make it 10 episodes, but just keep it lean.
Yeah.
But again, it's like, I think it's like they're a little bit too long, but I like this season a little bit better because it was a little this season was a little less more exploitation.
Yeah.
It actually had like some really interesting plots and like stuff that like going through and everything. Justin Swain actually as, you know, the chick's partner.
Yeah.
He was great too.
He was really good.
I thought it's like, and then they actually had Frank Whaley come back as, why do I always forget Missy's partner's name? Because it's stupid too. It's like it's a stupid name where you're like, it's like I can't even. But it's like he actually shows up in a couple episodes, and I thought that was great to see him.
I'm blanking, but I know you're talking about.
It's like spatula, or like it's not spatula, but you know what I mean. Because it's like what is it? It's gonna really bother the crap out of me. Scarf.
There you go.
His name is
Yeah.
Scarf. Like again, stapler, spatula, scarf, same thing, right?
Yeah. Tomato. You say tomato, I say scarf.
You know, but it's like it was great to see him. You know, it's like again, Luke Cage's dad was great. I kind of wish we had a little bit more Claire, but you know, we do lose Claire, but that's okay.
So the way we lose Claire,
The way we lost Claire was stupid because he went full Eric Benet.
Yeah, so he didn't hit her. Like, I'm just putting that out. He did not hit.
No, I'm sorry. He went Eric Benet. He did not go full Eric Benet. Let me rephrase.
Yeah, because he hit a wall. He didn't go Josh Brolin. Yes, I said it. But anyways, Josh Brolin's fine. Whatever. Like, let's not get mad at him. But Henry Cavill, fine.
He says something fucking.
Yeah. Oh, what a dick. But Josh Brolin.
Asshole.
Yeah.
It's because he's so symmetrical.
Yeah. Beat Martha Kent. Whatever. Thanos.
Yeah.
Infinity Gauntlet. But. Anyway,
It's fine. It's fine.
But I digress. But yeah, the way we lose Claire, Luke punches a wall, and when we said punches a wall, sorry, he goes through a wall basically because he punches through it, and that's a solid 5-minute scene between two. Mm-hmm. And that's when I went, Mike Coulter's fucking wonderful because he has to sell that emotion, that regret, and Rosario Dawson, who I've always thought is just a goddess ever since Josie and Pussycats, which is
I was gonna say, I mean, she's amazing.
Yeah, anyways, but that scene is sold so well, and you lose Claire, which I think is a bummer. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see her again, maybe until like 2020, to be honest, because
I think you're right.
Because Rosario Dawson's actually said that she lives on the West Coast with, I think she has a kid. She has one kid, if not two, and obviously filming in fucking New York where all those shows take place. It's just a strain.
And she's been in all of them to this point.
Yeah,
so,
like even unfortunately Iron Fist, but again, one of the best things about it. But so I wouldn't be surprised if they write. I hope they don't write her off. Like I hope she comes back at least for something.
She is holding Jessica's spot. That is what Claire is doing. She's holding Jessica's spot.
I hope so. Just just in the way Lupita Nyong'o is holding the eventual Storm spot. Sorry,
it's like no. That is
I want Storm and Black Panther. Just throwing out there.
No, that is exactly what's happening. It's like I love Lupita. I think she's amazing, but that she's holding Storm's spot. That's exactly what that's what Rosario is doing right now for Jessica. She's holding her spot.
Exactly. Yeah, you with the Latino ex-con or whatever. You deserve Luke. He was found innocent, but
I just think his name's actually Carl.
True, but I look like his dad. I'll call you by the name I gave you, boy. I was like, shit.
Oh my god, I loved it too. Like when he got he was like fighting off all those dudes and stuff, and his dad's like, "You doing okay?" And he's like, "Dad, I'm bulletproof." He's like, "It doesn't mean you get to hit my baby."
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah.
I know. I went, oh, just there's so much. Good
the thing is, Luke Cage season 2 has so much good. It's really I think it's better than the second one. I don't know, like because it's like when I remember before I started watching it. I heard a lot of people talking a lot of shit about it. I'm like, I don't understand. I go, did we watch the same fucking show?
That's all I'll say. Because I went in, because look, I'll be the first to admit, because I had multiple people tell me, oh, Justice League sucks. I watched it and I went, this is good. Why is everyone freaking out?
It's entertaining,
yeah. I remember IGN gave this like a 4.5.
I think it's like OJ was telling me it was like a 4.2.
Yeah, and
it said boring, and I'm like, I didn't think it was 4.2 or boring.
Yeah, and I think Iron Fist got a 3, and I went, so you're saying this is almost as bad as Iron Fist, which it's not even close to.
Not even damn close.
This is fucking Wonder Woman compared to. It's like comparing Wonder Woman to Mamma Mia. Like Like, honestly, though, like, that's what this shit is. So,
Yeah.
people are like, oh, it's bad. It's not bad.
No, that's not bad.
I think at worst, most people, and I will say a lot of the reviewers, just saying, a lot of the reviews were white dudes that I read who were giving this bad grades. A lot of the brothers I read who were reviewing is like, oh, shit's wonderful. Maybe like Wu-Tang Clan better. I don't know. But
why? But I mean, why would that make a difference? Though it's like, because I don't feel like it's like, okay, and full disclosure, I'm white and ginger, as you probably have figured out because I was talking about being pasty as shit. Okay. Why would that make a difference? You know what I mean? It's like, because like from an entertainment standpoint, that I feel like that would make no difference. It made no difference to me.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, well, I guess IGN reviewer was black too. I don't know, like whatever. Does IGN hire black people anymore?
Who knows at this point?
But I will just say, for me though, I really did watch, and I was looking for like the stuff they were complaining about, like the bad pacing and. Like I said, I think that's just...
And the bad pacing, though, it's like, for me, it's like, again, my pacing problem, it's with all of them, it is not just exclusively.
But I think, as far as the sophomore seasons, this suffers from it the least, if that makes sense.
I would agree.
Because even even Daredevil Season 2, which, like I said, to this point, I probably... No, I can't. Let's just more. But Daredevil Season 2 I really enjoyed, but... It's that shift from Punisher to Elektra that I found really jarring at first. I went, okay, like, I'm still interested, but it's not as strong. Mm-hmm. This, I just went, okay, there's Bushmaster and there's Mariah and there's Shades. I mean, two villains, I guess, if you want to be super technical about it. But everyone is fucked. It's just a matter of who's fucked the least in the scene that you're watching.
Right.
And it does a good job of showing that Luke is... not breaking physically, but mentally, he's kind of cracking under all this pressure, and it's fascinating to watch. It's a really good character study, honestly.
No, it is. I think it's like, honestly, I think it's probably some of the best stuff that Mike Holder's done.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I think, you know, they need to have a season 3, because I need to see how this shit resolves itself.
Yeah.
Like, pronto, people, we're already filming season 3 of Jessica Jones. I'm just saying.
That is true. So, I mean,
let's go.
Well, hopefully,
Chop chop.
So I will say, even as a Marvel nerd, it's almost exhausting to keep track of all the shit Marvel has coming up. Because right now it's like, oh, Jessica Jones season 3. Oh, they're shooting season 2 of Runaways. I'm like, oh fuck! I actually forgot Cloak and Dagger existed until I went on my Hulu randomly. It's like Cloak and Dagger's here. I'm like, oh fuck, that's another show. It's like, it's like Marvel.
God damn it!
It's like the people in Harlem. I can't breathe. But wrapping. But you're welcome. But wrapping this up, I give it a Fan-Fucking-Tastic. I was going between A+ and Fan-Fucking-Tastic, and I've watched multiple episodes a couple times since I finished it. I'm like, and even season 1, I've gone back and watched an episode, like a clip or two, but not a full episode. I've rewatched a couple episodes in season 2 already, and I only finished this maybe 10 days ago. So,
yeah, I watched it on my vacation last week.
Nice.
It was great. I probably watched like 2-3 episodes a day, just really depended on the day.
Solid.
I would give it an A. I mean, it was
solid.
fucking great. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I fucking enjoyed it. It's like, and pretty much, again, anything with Wu-Tang Clan, you get like an automatic bump from me. Because Wu-Tang, again, for the children. And, yeah.
So we haven't reviewed it yet. I will say I'm working my way through Black Lightning. I'm really liking it so far. I'm on episode 6 right now. I'm about halfway home.
It's actually got a really good tone to it. I was actually surprised. I haven't finished it yet, but it's like, but I was like actually really surprised. It's like, it's because Black Lightning. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But it actually, the actors in it are spot on. Yeah, they're great, and it's like it's not super preachy about like social issues.
Yeah, so I will say, so I know you're more of a DC girl. You know me, I was hanging in there with Supergirl for a while.
I could too.
And I finally just had to, I had to pull up, I just had to throw in the towel. I went, alright, show.
Like, it got too much. It's like, I totally appreciate, putting like social issues into like, TV shows and stuff like that. I mean, that's a kind of it's a good way to like, tell people about stuff, but actually keep them entertained and interested in like talking about the subject.
Yeah.
Supergirl was getting way too much though. It was like beating you in the face.
But I also think, too, if Supergirl wasn't doing the Villain of the Week formula...
Yeah.
And they had maybe 2 or 3 villains throughout the whole season... Because they are burning through that rogues gallery.
They burned through it, like, a lot in the first
like,
season.
At an alarming rate.
The Livewire was gone. It was like, I mean, they had so many... I'm just like... And then they bring in Rain, but, like, Rain's only there for, like, 5 seconds, and then she's gone. But then she comes back, and it's like... Okay, it's like, Rain's kind of fucking important. Anyway. Yeah, and then I was just like, I'm fucking done. So.
Yeah, so, I mean... So I can't remember what season or what storyline. I know it's one of the big Superman ones. I'm totally blanking on it that they're adapting for this year, and I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to see it.
I don't know what it is, and I probably don't want to know because I'm going to be like, nope.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I love Melissa. I think
Melissa Benoist. No, she's great.
She's lovely. So she falls into that Amel category where I go, you clearly care about this character. I just wish they were giving you better.
And that's exactly how I feel about Stephen Amell. That's exactly how I feel about it because I'm just like, and Flash is still good. That's the thing. Flash is still entertaining, and I like this last season of Flash because it's actually they had a villain that wasn't a fucking speedster.
What?
I know, crazy.
Yeah, they had Zoom and Reverse Flash and
well, the thing was, it was like so you have Zoom, which like I'm like cool. You get Zoom, it's like fine.
Yeah.
You've got Reverse Flash. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you bring fucking Savitar. I'm like, dude, can we get like a not speedster?
Yeah.
Like, that'd be great. But it was the Thinker this season, and he was actually great.
No, and a lot of the stuff I saw from this season, I went, okay, this is intriguing me. But Grant also saying like, can Jeff Johns or Bruce Timm just do everything? Like, can you clone Bruce Timm
and Jeff Johns and just make them do everything?
Because seriously,
here's the thing with Jeff Johns though. It's like Jeff Johns is like if it is a project that he's passionate about and he cares about, then he will take care of his baby. Like the Flash and Green Lantern, he will take care.
But that's why I want to know how I'm doing Smallville.
It's like but you don't let Jeff do anything he doesn't care about because the second Jeff doesn't care about something, you get New 52 Shazam where Billy Batson's a fucking dickhead.
Yeah,
and that's not good.
But Shazam looks good.
I think Shazam looks great.
Yeah, just
I'm super excited.
I know we're going to DC here, but indulge us here. But Shazam looks. So I will just say, as a man who has a man crush on him, I love Chuck. If you've listened to the podcast, it's one of my top 10 favorite shows ever. I love Chuck
was great.
so much, and I've always wanted Zachary Levi to get a shot, like a legit shot at starring and carrying something. Same thing with Kristen Ritter, which is why when she got Jessica Jones, I went, "Oh my god!"
I was very excited when she got her.
But Shazam just looks fun, and it does look like they're going New 52 origin, which I don't have a problem with.
No, actually, I did until they said that because New 52 origin is actually by Jeff Johns, but he's a fucking little asshole.
Okay,
like Billy's a total asshole. Apparently, he's not going to be an asshole though. So they're going with the New 52 run, but he's not going to be an asshole. Hopefully,
I will say that sad that we're not getting Black Adam supposedly in this.
Well, I think it's like the biggest rumor for Black Adam is it's like he's going to be Man of Steel 2. Is like that's going to be the villain for Man of Steel 2.
Well, who's going to be Superman if Henry Cavill has to step down?
Henry Cavill isn't going to get stepped down. He's not going to get asked to step down because the thing is, I think what's happening right now is like because honestly, it's like the discussion that I'm hearing about it is most everybody's like, what the fuck? It's not that big of a deal. Just shut the fuck up. It's like it's like basically it's kind of like just calm down, relax. Don't. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're focusing on like the wrong thing. You know what I mean? It's like you're completely misinterpreting what he said. Again, he like basically you asked him a question, he top of his head answered it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And you're overreacting to the words that came out of his perfect mouth.
Yeah, he does have a heroic brain. And actually, I mean, what? What? He's a great... That's the thing. So I will just say, because I know a lot of, like, I make fun of DC because it doesn't make me laugh, but he is not the problem with Superman. It's been what he's been given. No. And he was great in Justice League. So I hope Comic-Con, because it is this week, and we will talk about that, I hope we get a Man of Steel 2 announcement. If George Romero still wants to do it, which has been a rumor, I would love George Romero to do a Superman movie.
George Miller?
Miller, pardon me.
Because I'm like, Romero's dead.
Yeah, sorry, you're right.
And zombies.
Yeah. I would love to see George Miller do it.
He was supposed to be Justice League Immortal.
Yeah, I would have been okay with that too. Like,
Justice League. I remember I was counting down to Justice League Immortal because I was like, I knew what everything was and I knew who everybody was and I was like, okay, there's my Wonder Woman. It's like this is gonna be good. And then they didn't do it and I was sad.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing. I guess it'd be sad for you. Like,
oh, dude, I've been way sadder about comic movies for way longer, so it's like fair. It's all good.
Well, it's like that Inhumans movie we're gonna get, right?
Oh, please.
but if we get a Man of Steel 2 announcement, I would be very happy because I think
it's time.
It is time, and I know they're using him Krypton. I would still do Brainiac. I would
too. It's like because the thing is that because Brainiac, the thing about Brainiac, you can have so many different Brainiacs. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, so the Brainiac that's on Krypton isn't necessarily the same Brainiac that would be in Man of Steel.
True.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, so it could
True.
be like a Brainiac, like, you know, different Brainiac from a different universe. I mean, there's so many things you could do with it.
Yeah.
I think Brainiac, though, would be pretty amazing.
I feel about Brainiac the same way I feel about Mysterio being in a Spider-Man movie, which I'm finally getting now, which, it makes me so excited. That he's one of those rogues where I go, he would translate really well to film. Why haven't you done this yet?
Oh, yeah.
So it doesn't always have to be Lex, which I know everyone's like, oh, Lex Luthor. It's like, no.
Well, no,
like,
and I fucking love Lex Luthor, but
I do
yeah,
too.
it doesn't always have to be Lex.
And by the way, just to speak to that very quickly, Jesse Eisenberg, if we get the Lex Luthor from that end credit scene in Justice League,
I'm fine.
I'm down with that. If I get BVS Lex Luthor, I recast it.
I feel like there's some bullshit you can like pull for that, but it's like, I mean, yeah, it's like if he was at the end of Justice League, and then with, you know, Deathstroke and everything like that, I'm totally down.
Joe yeah. Oh, he's
so dreamy.
He's so dreamy.
He is dreamy.
He really is.
He's married to Sofia Vergara. It's like the most ridiculously attractive couple in the world.
Oh,
Vergara. Sofia Vergara.
He's slumming it. I mean, he could.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Sofia Vergara slumming shit.
I'm kidding. He's not married to what's the girl? The chick from Girls.
Lena Dunham?
Yeah. That would be slumming. God, I can't stand Lena Dunham. Alright, I'm gonna go off on Lena Dunham now, so guys, thank you. Kate, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate it.
No worries, it's fun.
We'll have to review something else Black. Black Dynamite, maybe?
I love Black Dynamite so much.
Black Dynamite's a great movie. We actually should review Black Dynamite. That'd
Okay.
be fun, but alright,
down.
Alright, we're keeping this under an hour. Guys, thank you so much for listening.